Joins us to talk about the movie. Good morning, Martha. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
How much input did you have in the TV series?
I had a lot of input because they basically adapted the book for the miniseries, but they had a brilliant screenwriter named McGraw Show, who I have known now for 9 years. He has been involved in this project in the same way I was, with the soldiers, with the families, the survivors, the Gold Star families, and has honestly just, it is an amazing adaptation. And he understands the same thing that I did about these families. These are not action figure superheroes. They are real, everyday, your neighbors, my neighbors, who are thrown into a situation they never thought they would get into, an ambush. They thought they were on a peacekeeping mission, are pinned down, and rescue squads go in to try to find them. They go in open trucks. They go in unarmored Humvees. I know it's hard to think back during that period. It was a period when the war really changed, but they all did that, and then he knows the families as I do, and it has been an amazing experience.
All right, it's on National Geographic. It's an 8-part series. I'm glad you were involved. Every time the author of the book is involved, it's always a better story, so I'm glad you're involved. But why, Martha? You've covered the war. You know stories. What was it about this story that made you want to sit down and tell this story?
I think because it's honestly the first time I had ever seen soldiers cry. It's the first time I had, held the hand of a grieving spouse. It was 2004. It's more than 13 years ago. And it was when the pain of that war really was so apparent to me. And they sat on that day that I first interviewed them after losing 8 of their guys in one battle, and shared the most intimate, painful details of their lives. I couldn't let that go. I was with these soldiers last night. I will be with them again tonight, and family members. We were doing things for the wounded veterans here with the Bob Woodruff Foundation, and they stayed. They are wonderful. The cast, we had Michael Kelly and Noel Fisher and Kate Bosworth and all these wonderful actors who have become so close to the real people or to the Gold Star families, have taken exquisite care of them to make sure their relatives are depicted as they should be, to make sure this story is told accurately. I mean, this event last night, they may still be there for all I know. I had to finally leave, but their care and concern for the wounded, it's opened the eyes of, I know, a lot of cast members and a lot of their families. It's been truly a bond between all of us as well.
When does this debut on National Geographic?
So it is an 8-hour miniseries, and each hour profiles one of the soldiers or the Iraqi interpreter or that family. It starts tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time. They'll run 2 episodes this evening, and then each Tuesday after that for the next 6 weeks. And I also urge people, after Part 8 airs, when you will be dissolved in tears but have a great deal of hope in your heart, to watch the documentary I did for National Geographic based on 13 years of video and interviews I have done with the real guys.
Martha Raddatz with us. The book is The Long Road Home, and it debuts tonight on National Geographic. It was, at the time, the single worst day in terms of casualties since the Vietnam War. So put this day or this battle or this fight into perspective, how it changed the war going forward.
I think it truly opened people's eyes. There was violence in Iraq, but not in the Shia areas like Sadr City. And those are the areas, because they had been under the thumb of Saddam Hussein, where I think the Americans thought, oh, they'll be fine, they'll love us, they'll welcome us. And it was that day I think they realized everything had changed. I think that was the day that we started saying, oh my gosh, we have to get armor on these vehicles. We have to give more protection to our troops. When you see these scenes, and there was certainly no video from that night because it was an ambush, when you see the recreated scenes with 17, 18 men going in to rescue other people in a huge absolutely open truck. I mean, they were fish in a barrel. That is eye-opening. And I have to give props to the Army. The Army cooperated with this. They tell this story just as we did. They let us shoot at Fort Hood. There's one part where there's an entire hour devoted to telling the story of a wounded soldier who went on to be an anti-war protester in Crawford, Texas. The Army said, you bet, tell that story. That's part of what happened. That's part of who we are. That's part of Americans who volunteer for the service. And they have been, honestly, just amazing in telling the story.
Martha Raddatz, keep doing what you're doing. ABC News Chief Global Affairs Correspondent tonight on National Geographic, The Long Road Home. Martha, good luck. Thanks for checking in.